about love bombing. I feel like I've done love bombing by accident, by accident. And I've been love bombed before. And I just happened to stumble across love bombing TikTok story times, which was interesting to me. I know that we love story times down here. So what's up, my friends? And welcome back once again to the Just Casey brand. I'm your homegirl. I'm your tia. I'm your prima. I'm your cousin. I'm whatever you need me to be down here at the Just Casey brand. If you have not already done so, please make sure to join the neighborhood by subscribing to the channel. Comment your thoughts down below, and let's get into these love stories.
And high level effort. I've been story time. The difference between love bombing and high level effort. I've been love bombed before. He was beautiful and he was strong and so masculine. But he laughed at me when I told him that other guys had told me I was intimidating. And from the day that we met, he texted me every day for a month, calling me my beautiful woman, telling me that he wanted to travel with me, and planning a future around a tomorrow that never came. The points to notice are the pet names and the talks of a far-off future. Now on to high-level effort. If there is still a little part of you that may not believe that you get to have the love that you deserve, high levels of effort is going to be a turnoff for you. If someone is giving you a high level of effort, they're making plans to see you in the immediate future. They're making their intentions clear, and they're asking you real questions about your life, not calling you pet names and making plans that never happen. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. And unfortunately, I think that the baby calling, the nickname, the cutie calling, I know someone are going to be like, I tell a man, you better use my name. But me, I'd be like, you called me mamas? Oh my gosh, that is so cute. You are so crazy for calling me that. Oh my gosh. No, I don't even want you to use my real name. I have been guilty. So I'm like, dang, girl.
How many red flags is too many red flags in the talking stage? Story time about how I got ghosted by a consistent man. So I met this guy through Instagram. I know, Instagram. But we had a lot of mutual friends, and we kind of crossed paths some years before that. That kind of made me feel comfortable with meeting someone on Instagram and talking to them. So communication was cool. We were talking for a few days, and then I gave him my number, and then we were texting, and literally within like the first 5 or 6 days, he's like, come to my city. He lives in a different state, so he's like, drive to my state. I'll book you a hotel, and we can spend the weekend together and just see how this vibe is. I'm like, cool, because I'm not the type of person that likes to waste time either. I don't want to text you and call you for like weeks on end just to meet you in person and not like you.
Especially being long distance.
So he books the hotel. I go down. We have a great weekend. We go to dinner. We go to bowling. We have a good time. We're talking. We're laughing. We have a great time. I'm attracted to him. He's attracted to me. We're very flirtatious. The connection was just connecting. It was a good time. It was great. It was so much fun. Like, we were both talking about it after I left, you know. The following day while I was down there, we went to a basketball game. We ate again. And then, like, we just kind of hung and chill out. Such a great time. This man is an essential worker, so he works late hours and odd hours. After that weekend, it was great. I left. I came back home. We were talking every day still. I sent him a care package. There was somebody in the comments that said that maybe you needed to show genuine interest, and that's probably why he would have ghosted you, baby. I show genuine interest. I'm big on giving and reciprocating energy, and you were showing me that you was interested. And so through the first couple of weeks of us communicating and talking on the phone, I would hear like certain things like he would talk about at work that seemed like he could use. I just kept note of it, and I sent him a care package of some of those items. Just saying, like, I appreciate you. We sat on FaceTime. He opens it, and he's very appreciative of it. He's like, nobody gives me anything. I even thought of his daggone dog and got his dog a gift in the care package. Like,
Oh.
When I support you, I'm going to support you 110%. If you come with kids, if you come with dogs or whatever.
Yes.
Anyways, I digress. We agreed that I would come down a month later, and we would spend another weekend together, because the first weekend was such a good time. We were like, yeah, we need to see if this second time around the vibe is really going to stick. So I go down the second time. It was great again. In my opinion, I had a good time. Like, we went to Top Golf. We went out to eat. I met one of his friends. He took me shopping and bought me a couple things, like, because it was my birthday weekend too. Like, he didn't have to do that, but he decided to. Cool, great.
You feel like y'all really like vibing.
I was very appreciative of it. We had a great time. But after I left that weekend, literally as I'm driving back, the communication is just getting drier and drier and drier and drier and drier. But I didn't think too much of it, because I'm like, we spent a whole weekend together. So maybe he just needs some time. Cool. Take your time. Each day after that, it just got less conversation between us, and sometimes I would be texting myself and I'm just like, okay. So a few weeks later, he's like, I'm coming to your city, your state. Before he comes down, I had sent him a care package for the second time because I just felt like every time I would go down and he would spend money on me and we would have a good time, I felt like I wanted to send him a care package just to share my appreciation for him and just because I liked him. Girls spoil men too. Y'all just gotta go first. So I sent him another care package, but the second time that I sent him his care package, this man didn't open the package on FaceTime with me. He didn't even tell me he received the package. He didn't even say thank you for the items that were in the care package. I gave this man 2 days after it was delivered for him to even say anything to me about it. And he never said anything to me about it. Red flag. Cool. I'm like, you know what?
Did you say something?
You're expecting too much. It's still only been almost 2 months. Well, it's been 2 months. He comes to my city to visit a friend, and he doesn't make any time to see me. Not an hour, not like, oh, I only got time for you to pick me up from the airport. I only got time for you to drop me off at the airport. He didn't try to make any type of effort. I'm not interested in somebody like that. Like, I'm only interested in men that are low-key obsessed with me because I'm gonna be obsessed with them. Yeah, the simple fact that he didn't even try to see me, I was already done. Yeah, you put the nail in the coffin with that one, boo. You came to my city and then you didn't make any time for me? Do you see me? No.
We ain't doing
no. And I don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to sound cocky, but sometimes that's how you gotta look at yourself. When people are treating you like boo-boo. Like, no, I'm not boo-boo. Not that. I'm flowers. So I didn't say anything the entire weekend. He made so many excuses about how he didn't have time and he had to do this and he had to do that. Oh, he was grilling. Sir, stop playing with me. I let him know how I felt about the situation the next day after he gets back to his city. What did you tell me you was coming to my city for if you wasn't even going to make time for me? Like, you should have just came here and not told me nothing at all. It's like you literally just played in my face. And what you're not going to do, you don't get 2 times to play in my face. You only get 1 time to play in my face.
Good.
Then he took 8 days to respond back to my message. And then when he finally responded, he gave me some whack-ass excuse about how his back was hurting so much that he was emotionally unavailable because he couldn't work because his back was causing him not to work. Okay, sir, I don't care. I don't even need your apology 8 days later. So yeah, ladies, that's how I got ghosted by a consistent man. Leave the comments down below about the red flags. How many red flags is too many red flags in the talking stage? Did I let this man get by too many times? Like, come on, help a sister out. Help the support group out because, baby, I don't understand.
Now, I do want to ask the homeboys who are in the neighborhood, question number 1, do y'all like getting gifts from women who you're dating? Question number 2, when is it too early to get gifts? Is it too early? Is it ever too early to get gifts for you as a man? Is it ever too early? The red flags that I would have definitely realized is the care package thing. That would have set something off for me. I'm not coming to pick you up from no damn airport. Not when you sitting up here acting like you don't know nobody. No, you better Uber. Oh, your back hurts so bad because you were at work working so hard. Okay, that's not my fault. I wasn't at work. You were. What do you want me to do about that? You want me to call your supervisor? You want me to tell them stop working you so hard? What the fuck you want me to do? Ain't much I can do. So, okay, sorry your back hurts. Here's some Advil. Or does your back hurt from doing something else while you're in my city? Does it hurt from something else? Tell me right now. Tell me right now, because now I think you lying. Now I wouldn't let it go that far. But you know, what was your red flags in her story? That would have been mine.
Hey y'all, don't worry about this hair and these nails. I get my life in order in the next 2 days. But that's not what I'm here for. So somehow I've ended up on the love bombing side of TikTok. I want to tell y'all a love bombing story. So about 1.5 years ago, I met this guy online. We talked on the phone for a couple days, text, conversation was really good. My spidey senses weren't tingling. So we set up plans to go to brunch. Like, say we met early in the week and we decided to go to brunch on a Saturday.
Okay.
Great. So we go to brunch. Brunch is cool. The conversation is still good. But I had won a raffle for some shoes at Foot Locker. So I needed to make my way to Foot Locker because, you know, you have only a window of when you need to go pick up your shoes. Now, he like, you know what I'm saying, the vibe is so good, you know what I'm saying? I really am not ready for this date to end. Are you cool with me taking you to Foot Locker? I'm like, are you sure? He said, yeah. Okay, fine. He takes me to Foot Locker. We get to Foot Locker, and when it's time to pay, as I'm about to use my debit card, he hurried up and paid for my shoes. He tapped with his phone. I was a little shocked, right? I mean, we just met. But at the same time, kind of pleasantly surprised, like, oh my goodness, thank you. I'm thinking, you know, maybe you trying to show me something different, right? Or you trying to show me that, you know, you genuinely interested. I'm not really sure, but thank you. Now, we part ways, but like I said, the vibe was cool. So we ended up meeting back again later on that night. We went to this place here. It's in downtown Detroit. It's called Barcade. It's got like all the old school video games, right? So we meet there. We have drinks, a little bite to eat. We playing the games. Everything's cool. Now, over the next couple of months, this man has like added me to his payroll. He gets paid every Friday. And so he was like, I'm going to send you some money every Friday because I want to show you that, you know, in the pursuit of us being in a relationship, this is what I feel like a man should do. You know, a man should make sure you good, make sure you straight, whatever. So like he was paying for my nails, my hair, lashes. Y'all know I had hair back then, but yeah, like getting my braids and stuff done. He was paying for all of that. Whatever, shoes was being released, like if I even mentioned it in conversation, he made the money appear to make sure I got the shoes I wanted. Now, I had never heard of love bombing. Like, I wasn't aware, but my daughter was like, Ma, you need to be careful. It sounds like he love bombing you. And I'm like, what is that? And she was like, just being overly nice, just showering you with gifts, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you want so soon. Like, it was just a lot in a short amount of time. So I'm genuinely not thinking that. I'm just thinking that maybe he's interested in his efforts to show me that he's interested. He just full court press with it, right? I don't know. Y'all, why after like 2.5 months, close to 3 months, this man literally disappeared, like ghosted me, vanished into thin air. So, allegedly his stepdad passed away. Now, I had met his mom, but of course I never met the stepdad, so I'm not sure of the dynamics of the relationship of his mom and his stepdaddy. Like, I don't know if they were actively together, separated, technically divorced. That part I'm not sure about, but he told me that his stepdad passed away. Now, the mama was Jehovah's Witness, so I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't really sure how that went as it pertains to a funeral, and I'm not really a funeral goer, so that's not something that I was like pressing him for the details about.
On the weekend, you feel me?
I had made us dinner reservations. I think it was for like either a Friday or a Saturday. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But I had made us dinner reservations on Open Table because he was like, hey, let's go here for date night, whatever. I'm like, okay, we can definitely do that. Let's go. I make the reservations. That's that. The day that we're supposed to go to dinner is the day that he disappeared. So on top of the fact that you disappeared, I was pissed because there was a cancellation fee, through Open Table. So I think I had to pay, I don't know if it was $10 a person or $15 a person because I canceled the reservations the day of. Now, we both had iPhones, so I attempted to text him, call him. My messages delivered. He never answered the phone, whatever. He resurfaced probably like a week or so later and said that the day we were supposed to go to dinner was the day of his stepdaddy's funeral, and he had to drive to Cleveland to go pick up his auntie. So for many reasons, that's a bullshit story because why would we make dinner plans the day that you laying your stepdaddy to rest? And we literally talk and text every day. It never came up in conversation that you had to go to Cleveland to pick up your auntie. The relationship had got kind of weird in that moment because now you've proven yourself to be a liar.
Yep.
And I just don't trust you. And then you trying to like feed me these lies over the phone. And I'm like, no, let's have a face-to-face conversation. he never wanted to have a face-to-face conversation.
Oh, okay.
Like never.
Dang. That was good.
And here we are, a year and some change later. We still haven't had that conversation. And he still literally disappeared. Now, I will say, I had ended up blocking him, but he got a new number.
I know he didn't keep reaching out.
When he called me from this new number, you know, the caller ID popped up. The phone number was in a woman's name. Now, I didn't do any deep digging or deep diving into, you know what I'm saying, who the woman was or the phone number or anything like that. Because like I said, we had only dated for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And
even
to me, it just wasn't that serious.
Yeah.
Now, he told me he was divorced. So, in conclusion, I came to the belief of either he had a girlfriend and they was on a break, he got a girlfriend in between us talking, or he was never really divorced and he had stepped out on his wife. What's funny is he DM'd me on Instagram. It's been a couple of months now, and basically told me that you know he owed me an explanation. Y'all just heard me tell y'all I ain't getting no explanation still, right? At this point, the dating pool is not a pool. It's just a sink filled with shitty water. I literally could go on and on. I have like 1,000,001 stories, but I just wanted to share that one with y'all because, like I said, I've been on love bombing TikTok and I've seen like several love bombing stories, and I'm like, so it wasn't just me. Now, I probably was some red flags along the way that I should have watched out for, but sometimes I just like to sit back and see how something is gonna play out. That's it. And that's all for now. He does follow me on Instagram, so I'm gonna post this on Instagram. He may comment or he may DM me again. I wonder what's gonna happen.
I don't think that there was any real red flags to see in that one, because it feels like you were with a man. Well, if I was in her situation, I would feel like I was with a man who wanted to provide for me and who wanted to take care of me. And I'm like, okay, well, in return, I know that he's probably looking for a woman who's vulnerable and submissive and gentle and stuff. Like, okay, this goes good together. How are you going to see red flags in that? How are you going to be like, how are you going to see it? I could not see it. Let me think. No, I just couldn't see it. So, man, poor gal. Very seems like a very
Do you have time?
Very nice.
Because this might have to be split up into parts, but let's see if we can get it in this one video. So I met my ex-husband in 2004, shortly after I graduated high school. I was 18 years old. When we met, he was actually pretty cool. He was sweet. He would take me to the movies. Then he started shopping for me and trying to change up my wardrobe, but I took it as, well, he's just sweet. He just wants to see me look good because he wants to show me off. That was a part of the love bombing that I did not realize. I ended up giving up my virginity to him after about 2.5 to 3 months. Literally, right after I gave up my virginity to him, that was when everything changed. I didn't really pay attention to the red flags too much. I kind of took it as, well, maybe I'm just like missing something here. Maybe I need to figure it out and get it right, because everything seemed pretty cool before. He seemed to really enjoy my company and love me and love being with me, and I couldn't understand it. My dad was sick and passed away 4 months into our relationship. 2 months after my dad passed away, I found out that he was cheating on me with his ex and multiple other females the entire time. I remember when I first found out that he was cheating on me, it literally felt like an entire house had fell on my whole body. I just felt like my entire world stopped, and I was completely heartbroken because by this time, I already told him I was in love with him. I already gave up all of myself to him, and I just couldn't understand where the switch up was coming from. The girl he cheated on me with ended up stalking me, calling my house, threatening my mom, calling my phone, threatening me, calling all different times of night, morning, day. Her and her best friends would harass me and stalking me, and it was just out of control. I was like, what the hell is going on in this relationship? He completely denied that he ever gave her my number, and he would get mad at me anytime I would confront him about it. Like, he didn't want to have nothing to do with the issue, even though this was a girl that he cheated on me with. She actually ended up telling me that the only reason that he was staying with me was because, in this exact words, feels bad for you because your daddy died. That's the only reason he's still with you. I was grieving terribly when my father passed away. It took literally 3.5 months for him to finally really show himself and to completely go from love bombing to devaluing me. After the cheating, I decided to, of course, stay with him. I said, you know what? I'm just going to work on myself. I'm going to do better. I could do better. Because the first thought I had was, I have to leave this relationship. He just cheated on me. But then instantly after that thought came, it left just as quickly. And I felt like I was stuck. And that was the trauma bond that I was in, which I did not know anything about at the time because I didn't know nothing about narcissism or this type of emotional and psychological abuse. But I felt completely stuck in the relationship. So I worked every single day and tried hard every single day to make him love me the way he loved or the way he cared, the way he gave attention to the other girls that he would cheat on me with. So between month 3 and month 6, he was the worst boyfriend I could have ever had in my entire life. He would compare me to other girls. He would tell me that I needed to gain weight. I was too skinny. I wasn't attractive enough. He would tell me that I had a pretty face, but my body wasn't all that I needed to look better. I needed to do better. And then every time I would wear something he would tell me I should wear, he found something else wrong with me. Every time I would do something that he told me I should do, he found something else wrong with me. He was constantly moving the goalposts, and it felt impossible, literally impossible to make this guy love me, care about me, or respect me in the same level and ways that I did for him. But again, I was completely trauma bonded, and of course I was stuck on stupid, and I stayed. I was completely depressed after my father passed away to a point where I had thoughts of unaliving myself, and I really did not want to be on this earth. So I went through this whole stage where I thought maybe having a baby is going to make me feel better because then I'll be someone who's not going to leave me and someone who's going to love me unconditionally. And so I intentionally got pregnant with my daughter. No. For some crazy reason, I thought having a child with him was going to make him love me more and that he was going to respect me more and things would change. And I'll have the family I always wanted because I did carry on childhood trauma from my past into my relationship. After we had our first child, it took literally no more than 2 months, which seems to be the magic number with everything, and before he finally decides to switch up and act different. And even during the pregnancy, I had a really hard time. I got pregnant when I was 19, I gave birth when I was 20, and I had just turned 20, so I was still pretty young and very naive at the same time. And I had a very hard time just transitioning from being a young woman who was out having fun with her friends into a mom. All my friends disappeared. I had no friends. It was just my child and my relationship, which was extremely toxic. There was also some moments where he was physically abusive from after, I would say, about month 6 of the relationship going forward, but it wasn't constant. So I thought, well, maybe this isn't an abusive relationship. Again, maybe it's me blaming it all on myself. So we started going to church together, and I thought, oh, maybe this is the answer. This is the magical answer, going to church together. Maybe things will change. And every time things changed for 2 weeks, I acted as though those 2 weeks was like a good solid 2 years, and it really wasn't. Every little bit of breadcrumbing he did made a huge difference to me when it really should not have made a difference at all. So we ended up getting pregnant 3 years later with our second daughter. I had a very hard time in that pregnancy too. I was extremely depressed. One day he was happy, good to me. The next day he hated me, ghosted me, didn't speak to me, didn't see me for days, didn't see me for a week. I couldn't understand it. Silent treatment, all the above. It just seemed like the abuse was getting worse and worse, but I was so stuck in trauma bonded that I kept ignoring it, thinking it has to be me because he keeps saying it's me, so it must be me. It must all be me. After our daughter was born, we talked a lot about getting married, and my crazy thinking, my crazy mentality at the time, I thought maybe being his wife is going to make things better and things are going to change. So literally probably about 2 months after we had our second daughter, we got engaged, and then by the time she was like about 6 months old, we got married, and things were okay for the first 2 months. Again, there goes that special 2-month number. Living with his parents at the time because he lost his job. We didn't have any money for us to really go out and get our own apartment. So we lived upstairs in the attic in his parents' house for 5 whole years. And it was the worst 5 years of my life. I lost a lot of weight. I was extremely depressed. I was completely miserable. And I started to really slowly yet quickly regret getting married in the first place. I just kept digging a deeper hole for myself and realized, how did I go from being happy, hanging out with my friends, to now I'm married to this guy who doesn't respect me, doesn't care, doesn't love me, and all he does is stay home, play video games, and watch TV. 6 years later, we finally move out his parents' house, get our own place, and things were okay for the first 2 months. 2017, I find out he's cheating on me. I was gonna leave, but then seeing how depressed he became after me finding out that he was cheating, I felt like I had to be there for him. He was able to really manipulate the whole situation and switch it on to him so he could look like the victim. And of course, yet again, I stayed. And yes, abuse did continue to get worse.
Oh, girl, you are tough.
So here we are finally at the end. By 2021, my grandmother passed away. He ended up getting addicted to Coca-Cola. And again, he was seeing somebody else. And then 2022, my mom got sick, passed away. And that was when I said, I can't do it anymore. The devaluation went from devaluation to straight evil, demonic mode. I was so hurt, so depressed, and it had already been a whole 18 years later, and I couldn't take it anymore. And finally, I said, you know what? I can't continue to live my life this way. Every time someone passes away in my life, you do me grimy. And I told him he needed to leave, never come back again. And it has been a year ever since me and my ex have been separated. I filed for divorce. And I'm finally living happily ever after, a day at a time.
Those men who know how to compliment you, but at the same time insult you, but at the same time manipulate you, are so dangerous. They're the ones who act like they know everything. I remember I dated this dude who thought that he was the second coming of Christ. Like, for real. I'll never forget. We were sitting in this office and he was like, you know what? I've been thinking a lot about things, and you know how the black Hebrew Israelites are like this and they like that and they like this. I feel like I'm the one who's here to make a change. I'm the one who's here as the second coming. And I was like, the second coming of who? Who's the second coming of who? The second coming of Christ. Like, I could feel I am the black Messiah. I was like, let me get up out of here. Let me get up out of here before Satan and the Lord come in here and do some stuff, do some rumbling and tumbling, and I shouldn't be in here doing nothing with you. I'm gonna get on out of here. Because how you think you the black Messiah? Why you think that about yourself for? You sitting up here in a City Trend outfit, really thinking so highly of yourself, which I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with City Trends. I just don't see a black Messiah who has came back down, who has risen on again, coming in an outfit like that. That's all I'm saying. That's scary.
30 days ago, I met a man on Match.com and we're getting married. Let's get into it.
So last night I saw that TikTok video, and before I continue with my video, I want to make it very clear that I have discussed the situation with my friend, and she has given me permission to talk about it here on TikTok. So last night I saw that video, and I'm like, this gentleman looks like very familiar, but it's a side view, so I'm not really sure. I sent the video to my girlfriend. My girlfriend calls me. She's like, that's my ex. I was like, are you sure? She's like, that's my ex. Mind you, she dated this man for 9 months, so she knows what he looks like. Either way, because it's a side view, I'm just like, I'm not really too sure. So I went to the woman's page and I zoomed in on the WhatsApp communication on his profile picture, and I can clearly see that that's him, but he's going by a different name. So I started to tell my girlfriend the name, and she cuts me off and she completes his name, and she was like, yes, that's his middle name. His family calls him by that name. However, she always preferred to call him by his first name. So like my mind is blown because I'm like, this man is really recreating y'all relationship. And he appears to be a serial love bomber. He contacted my girlfriend December 27, 2022 via Instagram DM. Her birthday is December 29th. This man sent her, money for her to go to the spa and sent her money for food for her birthday. Within 1 week of communication, he already told her that he loves her. He continued to give her gifts, send her gifts because they live in different states. He continued to make sure that he was in constant communication with her. Like, she really felt like this was the real thing. Spiritually, emotionally, like everything just felt like this was great. This is happening for her.
Oh my God.
It was so serious that he was actually asking her to, come and move out there. He wanted her to stop her master's degree that she was doing in the state that we're living in and come move where he lives, and then she will be able to continue her degree there.
No.
And he continually asked her to the point that she got upset, and she told him no, she's not going to do that. And it was insensitive because she has obligations where she lives, and she's not willing to just like just ignore those things. And so he eventually apologized to her for that, for being so pushy about her moving out so quickly. So they continued to stay together. Things were really, really serious. She met his mother, she met his children, he met her family, he met her children, which is a very big thing to her because she dates, but no one gets to meet her children. And congratulations to my girlfriend. She actually graduated on December 2023 with honors, coming off of a relationship that she honestly didn't see that was going to end. She in fact was at his place in, I believe, around Labor Day, and because they were picking up furniture and they were really setting up for her to make that move to come live out there. What I am pointing out is that when somebody comes to you and they want to tell you that they love you, they want to make it seem like you're the best thing for them, and it's a very short period of time, I think it's very important for you to be cautious, and then for you to think about, are they telling you these things because it's you, or are they telling you because it's them? I see similarities to what this woman has shared. And I also, like, even visually seeing certain similarities. This is actually a picture of my girlfriend, and I just see like this as a lot of red flags. And all I can say is that, ladies, just be careful, pay attention. It's great to feel love. It's great to feel wanted, but that love bombing thing, you have to understand where it's coming from, and usually it's coming from them, and it's not really about you. So that's my story time. Actually, one last thing. I'm not saying that this man didn't love my friend, nor am I saying that he does not love this woman. It's just, you cannot ignore the red flags. This man was with my girlfriend, a very serious relationship, that he was telling her that he's been waiting for her his whole life, that she is everything to him. And now fast forward, a month and a half to 2 months later, you're already dating someone else, and now you're telling them the same thing, and you're actually engaged to them. Red flags are red flags. And that is the end of my story time.
Wow. I feel like this is hard because you want to be with somebody who desires you. You want to be with somebody who's very open and honest with you about how they feel. And you want to fall in love. But then, like, what if you fall in love and that ain't the person you're supposed to fall in love with? So then you have to move on to another person. But at the same time, it wasn't that you were being dishonest with anybody. It's just that you thought that this was the love of your life. So that's why you were so open with them. But then, it ain't always the same person. So I don't know how it could sound like the same things that he's saying to one person, he's saying to another woman. Even if this was a woman doing this, like, I don't know how it could be the same things. That part, I don't know. And I got another question too. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. How do you know when it's love bombing and when it's not? This makes me want to study the idea of slow burn love even more. I only kind of recently start hearing about that as I've gotten into a different side of dating. And I'm like, maybe slow burn really is better than feeling all of these feelings and all of this connection so soon with somebody. Maybe that slow burn love thing is real and worth it.
These were times that I got love bombed, but I had no idea I was getting love bombed until like months after. When I first started seeing my ex, within the first 3 weeks, he asked me to be his girlfriend. My dumb ass, I was like, this is a romance. Like, he knows I'm the one, and he knows. So we're gonna just like start dating immediately. And my friends were like, don't you feel like this is getting rushed a little bit? I'm like, don't you feel like you're a little fucking jealous? Like, what do you mean? Like, he loves me. Looking back, I'm like, 3 weeks, bitch. What? Why did I think that was normal? Ex and I also got into a huge fight to the point where like I was gonna leave him. I think this was like during the 3 weeks. It was like he asked me to be his girlfriend. We get in this huge fight, and then I'm like, I'm leaving your dumbass. So after I was like, yeah, I'm leaving your dumbass, he sent me flowers. He sent me 50 roses. Immediately, I'm kind of like, but still like, no, like I'm leaving his dumbass. I read this card. And in this card, he told me he loved me. And it had only been 3 weeks. I remember reading that being like, what the fuck? But I was also kind of like, he really loves me. I remember sending that to all my friends, and they're like, dude, that's so fucked up. And I was like, but what if he like really loves me? And really? All my friends were like, no, he doesn't love you. He's just saying this because he's love bombing the fuck out of you. And I was like, I don't know, because when you're in it, like, you don't realize you're being love bombed, especially me. If I have a motherfucker telling me how amazing I am 24/7, I'm like, well, he's not wrong. So, like, what's the problem here, you know? So that was actually, like, a really hard thing for me to understand, was, like, there is such thing as love bombing, and not everyone is gonna think you're as amazing as you think you are. Like, they're just love bombing you. Ex also always talked about the future with me, like, way too early. It'd be like month 2 and he'd be like, I want you to have my babies. And I was like, I don't even want babies. We'd be walking and there'd be this like apartment building and he's like, I'm gonna buy us a place in there one day. And I'm like, with what money? You know, like, he always talked about the future and like all the things he was gonna do for me in the future. I don't even think we had a real relationship. Our text messages just consisted of him telling me I'm gorgeous and me being like, I love you, you know, like, just not realizing that I was just getting fully love bombed. You're not even 6 months into dating someone and they're like, I'm gonna marry you. It's like, that's fucking weird. Like, why do you already know you're gonna like marry me? But like, I'm a hopeless romantic and I'm like, it's love at first sight, like, it's fate kind of thing. It's like, no bitch, you were getting love bombed. Also, like, always really wanted to meet my parents and stuff. Well, my mother always wanted to meet like my mother and my friends. He was like really big on that and would tell them like, I'm gonna take such good care of her, I'm gonna be amazing to her. So I don't know, it was just like hard to believe that he wouldn't do those things. Go to part 2. But like, yeah, excessive gift giving is a sign of love bombing. Also, moving the relationship wildly quick. Within 2 weeks, it's like, he was like, I'm looking for a relationship, and like, are you seeing other people? And I was like, no. And yeah, I guess like I'm also looking for a relationship, like, which I am. But when I say I'm looking for a relationship, that means I'm gonna have to build with you. It's gonna take me like 2, 3, 5 months maybe to even like, which is like a normal amount of fucking time to grow and understand somebody to get in a relationship with them. But when you're getting love bombed, they want it to move super quickly, because normally it's just like a manipulation tactic. Like, super quickly, he's like, well, I'm looking for that. I'm like, I agree. Like, I'm also looking for a relationship, not fucking tomorrow, but like, I would like to work towards that with you as well. But that's going to take like a while. But to have that conversation within like 2 weeks is insane.
It's fast.
It's great to be on the same page as that person, but then to be like, all right, well, we're not fucking anybody else and we're not doing all those things. It's like, that's not really healthy. But then again, for me, I'm like, but he is my soulmate. And it's like, Livy, maybe he's fucking not, and he's just love bombing you. Then the next sign is like when they're telling your friends and family about you and they like want you to meet them. For instance, he was like, I told my dad about you, like I told all my friends about you. And I'm like, oh, that's so fine. Like, cool. And we're like a week and a half in. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, what'd you say? And he's like, that I really like you and that I'm nervous. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, valid. I would be nervous too. It's a sign of like rushing things super quickly is a big sign of love bombing. Also, telling you what you can and can't do when you're not fucking committed to that person. Like, hey, like, I don't, like, there's a difference between respect and boundaries and like being love bombed, so keep that in mind. Also, then being like, you're so amazing, I've never met anyone like you, like feeding everything that you want to hear. Like a million signs of love bombing, and like Google it. But the one thing I really want to talk about is like the aftermath of love bombing, because it's really fucking hard to deal with. After getting love bombed, you're like, wait, this person, I swear to God, like, was my soulmate. Like, they're basically convincing you of all of these things. So when they get up and they go, because you're either not doing what they want, or because they like want to go to someone who's a little bit more, it's like a manipulation tactic, someone else that they can fucking manipulate. It has you sitting there like, wait, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, what was that? But you said your family this, all the gifts, all this, like, what the fuck was that? And it makes it so much harder to get over that person, because you're like, I'm so confused. Like, we were just on such good terms. Like, what the fuck was? And then just like flips like a dime. That's fucked up. And you're probably sitting there like, I would never do that to him. I would never do that to him. Yeah, because you're not a narcissist and you're not going to love bomb people. But I think it's important to realize that, like, it's not you. You're not the problem. You were just sold a dream and then it was just taken the fuck away from you and you were just love bombed. So it's not your fault whatsoever. Like, you did nothing wrong. You just, like, fucked with a narcissist. Or someone who just has, like, issues. But they call love bombing because it honestly feels like a bomb, and that'll probably be like what it feels like a little bit, where it was like you just got bombed with all these amazing things, and then either it ends or it leads to like a very narcissistic relationship. Like, that person's like a narcissist and it's just a very unhealthy relationship. But when you're looking for a relationship or building for a relationship, I've realized that like quickness isn't always a sign of like you met your soulmate. Because I'm definitely the bitch that's like, that is my man. Like, where's my ring, babe? And it's like, take a step back, bitch. Healthy relationships take time. Like 2 weeks, relax. Also, they will make you feel like you're the problem 99% of the time, and they will absolutely never take accountability, so don't count on it. That's just a little bit of my experience with love bombing. I'm sure I didn't like explain it 100% correctly. Those are just some things that I've like realized and noticed like when I've been love bombed. I don't have my PhD, so not a doctor, but those are just some things I've learned. Personal experience.
And if we're being honest, I think we all have to grieve what didn't happen. I talk about that a lot when it comes to relationships and them just not working out how we wanted them to work out. It ain't, like she said, it ain't always you. And sometimes you have to sit with that. It's not me. It's just this person wasn't going to be the person for me. I can't remember who said it. But they said you might be the right package at the wrong address. And that's all it is. I used to get really down on myself whenever I would get broken up with, or I would have to break up with somebody. I would get really sad, like, dang, why can't I just be more calmer? Or why can't I just not cuss as much? Or why can't I just not do this and not do that so that he would like me, or so that somebody would stay with me? Then I finally had to be like, you know what? Somebody married my mom, which is so crazy because she's crazy. Somebody married my sister, same thing. So I feel like there is a lot of hope for me. I can't be down on myself about that type of stuff, because somebody is going to be like, yeah, that's just how she is, just as I'm going to be that same exact way with somebody too. I'm not going to expect this man to be exactly to a T of everything that I want, but I'm going to accept it because I'm like, you know, he has a majority of the stuff that I want. So I want somebody like that too. I had to get to that mindset, and also just get in a routine of letting go of things that don't work for me. If it doesn't work for me, I just have got to let it go. I can't hold on to it. I can't try and figure it out, decode what happened, what went wrong. I can't really dwell on that stuff for too long, especially when it involves another person. The only thing I can do is control how I feel and let it on go.
Get ready with me when I tell you the worst situationship I've ever had, and I got love bombed. This situationship was in July 2021, so literally 2 years ago now. I met this boy on a dating app, let's call him Brian, of course. I recognised Brian when we matched. I think we matched years ago. We're kind of in a similar circle, like we kind of knew of each other. So I was like, oh my god, like we know each other already. This is like a match made in heaven. If we match and he messages me, then he's probably going to be the love of my life. Like a few years ago, I was a bit away with the fairies and I just romanticised every single thing. He ended up messaging me and we were WhatsApping back and forth, and I was like, this guy's replying so fast. He's obviously the love of my life. I was done with games back in the day. I'm still done with games right now. Turns out we added each other on WhatsApp. We already had each other's numbers from years ago, which is like mad. And I was like, oh my god, like he's meant to be. He was already in my phone. Like that's crazy. Literally within a few days we'd plan our first date. So we planned to meet in the middle of Leeds and London, which was Nottingham. He was like, yeah, we're gonna have a really long day, 4 dates in one, we'll explore Nottingham. There's not much to explore, but anyway, I got the train. I was so nervous because I knew that he was getting the train from London to Nottingham too, and I knew that I would have to like walk up to him and be like, hi, how are you? Like that stuff just cringes me out. But anyway, I get to Nottingham and I say hello. Literally just clicked instantly. Chemistry was just there. Like we were having a picnic and we were like kissing a little bit in the park, and I was like, oh my god, is this what it's like to meet the love of your life? He was like, you know, haven't felt like this on our first date before, like I think we've got something special, blah blah blah. The date literally lasted like 8 hours. We got to know everything about each other. Like it was just there. Like when you think of a perfect date, it was the perfect date. Then when I got home, we FaceTimed and we planned for the next date, which would be in 2 weeks time. He was going to come to Leeds and book a hotel for 2 nights and like explore Leeds together, have a little weekend. In between the first date and the second date, we FaceTimed every single night. We became exclusive in a week, and this was not a shock to me because I was like, this is what it's like. My parents got engaged within 3 months. Maybe this is what happens to people who fall in love. Red flag that I should have caught out is we were on FaceTime and his sister came into his room and his sister was like, who are you talking to? And he said, oh, just a friend. Time comes for him to come to Leeds. I need words. I need somebody to say to me, I'm so excited to see you. I can't wait to hug you. Like I need that for me, like words of affirmation. I was getting none of it, but I was like, you know what? I don't know this boy. He could be physical touch kind of man. He could be a gift kind of man. Like I need to just be open-minded. So we meet at the hotel and I was expecting it to be like, oh my god, missed you so much. How are you? But he was like, I'm pissed off. I left my AirPod charger on the train. And I was like, oh, hi, lovely to see you. Let's sort it out. Let's go to Apple. He was moody, which is fine. Everyone has their moods, but I didn't feel welcome. It felt almost like it was a nuisance that he had to come all the way to Leeds, even though he planned it. Like I was happy to meet halfway again. We went up the lift into the hotel and it was a bit silent. It was a bit like weird. And we got into the hotel room and things escalated. All I can say is that I realised he was a bit selfish. Oh, I don't want to talk about sex on here, but let's just say I wasn't situation. So we went out for dinner, and dinner was fine. Like, the click wasn't there. The click wasn't there, okay? And I was trying to click it. Like, second day comes around, and we walk around Leeds town. We're holding hands the whole time. So I'm like, we're holding hands. Maybe there's chemistry. Like, maybe everything's all right. He actually went to Leeds University, and he took a photo of the Leeds University building, put it on his Instagram story, and then the whole time, the whole day, he was checking his Instagram story to see who viewed it. I connected the dots, and I think his ex also went to Leeds Uni. I think he was looking out for his ex name. I don't even know, but like, are you 12 years old? Like, be in the moment. Like, it's fine to view it once or twice, but like, every time there was a silence or anything, he'd get out his phone and look at his Instagram views. Like, it was just bizarre. Even though we weren't getting on, and I was like really, really anxious, he was saying stuff like, oh, in the future we'll do this, in the future we'll do that, next summer we'll do this. Like, he was saying the right things, but there was nothing there. Like, it was just bizarre. Like, at the start it was the best day of my life, and then it just flopped. Like, it was just bizarre. But anyway, the second evening comes around, I'm in bed, I'm literally like, what is this? I know, I wake up in the morning, and before he leaves, I just tell him, like, I don't think this is gonna work, I don't think this is right. Like, at the start, you were all in it, and now you're just like 100 million miles away, and like, I just don't think that you care about me. Like, went off in a huff back to the train station, blocked me on everything. I feel bad that he came all that way, but when I told him, it seemed to be like a mutual thing. Like, maybe he seemed a bit shocked, but like, there was no chemistry, there was nothing there anymore. From that situationship, I've realised that you will not know somebody on the first date. It takes months to get to know somebody, and just because a date goes amazing, it doesn't mean that they're the love of your life. And also, a year after this, I met one of my bestest friends, Phoebe, had a little chit chat, connected the dots, and realised that we had a situationship with Brian, both of us, different times. She had a situationship with him the year before me. We literally had the exact same experience. I will never believe someone's words or actions until it's a few months in, until I really have the trust in somebody, and I will never get love bombed again.
You're right. You will never get love bombed again, because what I'm starting to hear and what I'm starting to pick up on is it takes time to even build to a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, to an exclusively committed relationship, which my dad always would be like, you ain't really gonna know somebody for like the first 6 months, but after that 6 months, that's when you'll see someone's true colors. And that's really how long I want to date somebody before I go ahead and commit to them. And I know that's a long time, and I know people don't want to quote unquote waste time like that, but it's like the mistake of locking down with the wrong person is just such a life waster. And I don't want to waste my life with the wrong person. I don't even want to exclusively, you my man, I'm showing you off, lock in with you for the first 6 months. I really want to see what you about, and I really want you to see what I'm about. But I want us to only be talking to each other. Is that selfish? Is that selfish? Am I tripping? Am I asking for too much? What y'all think? How long y'all think you should date before you say, okay, we boyfriend and girlfriend now?
Y'all, when I tell you these dudes are not fucking around with the love bombing these days. Like, I matched with this dude on Bumble, right? And we were having a completely normal conversation. Then he comes out with my least favorite question. What are you looking for? So I answered how I always answer, right? Real simple. It's like, oh, I would love to be in a relationship, so right now I'm just dating until I meet that person. And he was like, oh, me too. Okay, cool, great. Whatever. It's all bullshit. And then be like, continue, have like a regular conversation, right? Then he hit me with so what kind of man are you looking for? And I was just like, so then I go, funny and mentally stable. And he goes, ha ha ha, yeah, the bar really is on the ground for guys these days. And I was like, no, okay, not really. And then he goes, okay, so, but really, what kind of guys do you like? What kind of guy are you looking for? And I was just like, So I said to him, I was like, I don't really like answering that question when I'm dating people, because I like to meet people where they're at and as they are in real life, not like I tell you exactly what kind of guy I'm looking for and exactly what kind of guy I like, and then you figure out how to be that guy. Like, that's not a move. Yep. And he goes, oh, no, that's not what I meant. Like, I completely understand. Like, I want to meet like the real you too. I was just trying to ascertain if I was your type or not. And so I was like, well, as we get to know each other, in chatting or hanging out, I guess we'll figure that out together, huh? So then he's asking me like, what my favorite place in New York, or if I have any hobbies. And most of the time when guys are asking you these questions, it's so they can figure out like where they can take you, or where would be a good idea to take you on a first date that you'll enjoy, so prove that they like listened. But something about his questions were like giving weird, because when I would be like, yeah, I like tennis, he would never like follow up with whether or not he liked tennis or he liked anything. It was never like I would ask him like about like things that you like, and he wouldn't really answer. He would just come back with more questions about me, which I was like, I love talking about myself. I'm a Leo, but also at the same time, like, what are we doing? It was weird. So like, I'm talking to this guy for 3 days and I know absolutely nothing about him because he's consumed himself with asking questions about me. And then he was like, well, what makes you smile? What makes you laugh? What are your pet peeves? You know, what are red flags that you look out for in guys? And I was just like, wait, just a goddamn. And I was like, hold up. While I am not a therapist, okay, it is like my special interest. And I have taken enough psych classes and read enough psych books and done enough therapy myself to know when somebody's trying to set me up for some bullshit. Like, because if I didn't know any better, I'd be like, oh, this guy's really interested in learning all about me. Like, I'm so flattered he wants to know all the things that I like and all the things that I don't like. But again, like, it was a lot of questions to be asking somebody you hadn't even met in real person, like real life. And like, coincidentally, I happened to have therapy that day, so I was like to my therapist, like, I'm not tripping, right? Like, this guy's he's about to love bomb me if I ever meet this in person. She was like, oh yeah, no, this is a very weird line of questioning, because she's like, this entire conversation, all he's doing is complimenting you and asking you more and more questions about yourself to ascertain what kind of person you are and how best to like compliment you and to like get like weasel away. And she's like, no, cut this shit off of me. And then she was like, what's interesting is that he's doing a really good job at this. And I was like, what do you mean? Because she was like, the way that he's mixing all of this in with regular conversation, where it's kind of like not happening all at once. So if you weren't really paying attention, you wouldn't really know what was going on. She was like, he's done this before. He's a professional.
You know who automatically come to mind? Nick Cannon. Because what did he say? He said, you don't show who you are at the beginning of the relationship. You got to wait on it a little bit. What you talking about? Toxic man of America? What you talking about, Mr. I can't remember all my children's name? What you talking about? Oh, So here's my takeaways. You have to date somebody for 3 to 5 to 6 months to really know if you're being love bombed or if this is the actual person. You also cannot tell somebody everything that you want out of them at the top of the relationship or the top of the dating situation, because you want them to be as much of their authentic self as possible. I think that looks like having conversations that aren't centered around what's your favorite color? What kind of food do you like to eat? Where do you like to go to the movies? Where's your favorite movies? Like, asking deeper questions. What's your favorite character trait? What's your favorite personality trait? What books do you read? What do you enjoy about your family? But I tell you this, you can't do nothing with that information if you don't know yourself. So the first thing I felt like I had to do before I decided to step out into dating for real, like dating as an adult 34-year-old woman, was really get to know myself and really get to sit down, think with God, what kind of man would do well with me and what kind of man do I feel like I would do well with? There's a lot of stuff I don't mind doing, but it's a lot of men I'm not going to do it for. So let me know what you think in the comments. Have you been love bombed? Have you been the love bomber? Tell us. Come on, we like being nosy over here at the Neighborhood. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Make sure your notification bells are turned on. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.